Lord Emmanuel back in the lab, about to drop lesson 2.2 of the Right to Travel course from the Simonic Mystery School of Spica. You know what I mean? And, you know, this is not for the U.S. citizen. This is not for the resident. This is not for the corporate employee. This is for we the people. Because it's we the people who gave the government their power to be public servants and serve the interests of the people. And they done switched the role on you, and you don't remember that sovereignty ultimately resides with the people, not the government. So they need to be reminded about that sometimes. So, especially in the age of Aquarius. But without further ado, lesson 2.2 goes into the strawman construct and the fraud of licensing. So the objective of this lesson is to expose the deception of the strawman construct and the legal trickery behind the state licensing system. You'll learn how the DMV, courts, and police interact with your all caps name, not the living man or woman, and how licensing is used as a tool of consent, contract, and control. So, the straw man, the legal fiction. The straw man is the corporate legal entity created at your birth and represented by your all caps name. Created via your birth certificate, which is a bonded financial instrument. The state claims an interest in this entity and presumes you are its trustee or surety unless rebutted. So they claim to be the secure party because you don't. Now, all state issued documents, driver's license, registration, passport, etc., are all contracts made with this fiction. Key insight: the state does not recognize the living man. It only interacts with persons, which are corporate constructs or roles in commerce. Roles in commerce. In the corporate show, if you agree to the role, that's all it takes. Just like an actor. You know what I mean? You get the role, you got to waive who you really are in order to take on the role of a fictitious person, a fictitious character. So, when you present a license or registration, you are acting as the straw man and entering into a commercial relationship governed by statutory law. UCC, Title 49, Title 18, that we went over in the last video. The licensing fraud. What is a license? A license is permission to do something that would otherwise be unlawful. Think about that. permission to do something that would otherwise be unlawful. So, what is the state saying when it issues a driver's license? That traveling on the road is illegal unless you get permission, unless you are engaged in regulated activity, commerce. The trap of the DMV. The DMV is not just a vehicle administration. It is a commercial contract office that assigns state ownership over private property, your car. When you register your car, you surrender the manufacturer's certificate of origin and receive a certificate of title, which makes you the user, not the owner. Fraudulent presumptions. You are presumed to be engaged in commerce. They presume that when you don't rebut. You presume to be engaged in commerce. You are presumed to be operating the property of the state. And you are presumed to be acting in the capacity of the legal person. Like, this what I'm kicking right now is just a portion of what's really going on down here in this realm. Just a portion. But it's a very important portion. These presumptions must be rebutted or they become legal facts in court. Now, here's a gem. An unrebutted affidavit stands as truth in law. An unrebutted affidavit stands as truth in law. That means if you know they doing fraud, if they doing fraud and you know they doing fraud, and you put that in the affidavit and you tell them, give them 10 days, 21 days, however many days, to prove that they ain't doing fraud, to rebut, then when they don't rebut, it stands as truth in law. And you know they ain't gonna rebut because they doing fraud. And here's how they doing it. This is how they doing it. So these presumptions must be rebutted or they become legal facts in court. So withdrawing from presumed contracts. This is how you do it. Revoke your driver's license in writing. Notify the DMV and the Secretary of State that you rescind all presumed contracts. Declare your vehicle as a private conveyance, not for hire. Record a notice of non-commercial status and an affidavit of right to travel. These steps will be fully covered in Module 3. Now let's look at the duality of the two yous. So you got the living man or woman, you got the straw man or the legal fiction. So the living man or woman is created by the Most High. The straw man, legal fiction, is created by the state. The living man or woman has unalienable rights. The straw man has civil privileges. The living man or woman travels freely. The straw man drives with permission. Drives with permission. The living man or woman is sovereign and unregistered. The straw man is registered, bonded, and insured. I'm gonna tell you right now, the real sovereign are in the private. The real sovereign are on the land. They stand on the land. The real sovereign are under common law, the law of the land, natural law, the law of nature, and universal law, the law of the universe. That's what your ancestors was on. And now, all most people know is the corporate show. Like I said, you can get caught up in it if you want to, or you could come out of her, my people. So I'm gonna stop right here and go into lesson 2.3, which is contracts with the state, how the DMV enslaves. So that's the next joint, you know, little bit at a time. These little tidbits, but you put it all together and it'll have you fortified in a mug. You're gonna be fortified. There's a proper way. There's a proper way to assert your spiritual authority. There's a proper way to assert your spiritual sovereignty on earth as it is in heaven. Externally as it is internally. A proper way that is respected and acknowledged and recognized. You know what I mean? This is the Elohim, the Mellow Mystic, Lord Emmanuel, Chief of Simonica Nation, Spike of Star Seed, the wheat in the virgin's hand. And if you don't know,